Hi everybody, my name is Nilo Tabrizy. I am a journalist with the New York Times, and we are live right now at the Petzel Gallery in New York City in the Chelsea neighborhood. And we are here to get a tour of an interesting exhibition that's happening, and let's start this tour together. If you guys have any questions about the works of art we're about to see, any of the themes, let me know in the comments and I will ask some of the questions. So, would you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Janine Latham and I work at Petzel in the Press and Publications Department, and I'm going to lead this walkthrough today.
And what is the name of the exhibition today?
The show is called We Need to Talk, and the subtitle of the show is Artists and the Public Responding to the Current Conditions in America. And we essentially put this show together straight after the election of November. And we wanted in some way to engage the public, to engage artists, to ask questions about the myriad issues that have occurred because of Trump's election win on November 8th. So we basically shelved the previous show that we were going to have and decided to do something completely different. It's really a cathartic experience for the artists and the public. We just really realized that we need to talk and find out about the other side of America.
Great. And so what are we looking at right now? What's on the screen behind us?
So this is the first room that you come into at the gallery. On this screen is a film work which was made by Doug McLean, who's an activist and a photographer and a filmmaker. And it's called Standing Rock is Everywhere, and it was made in 2016. And it's really a film which documents the demonstrations at Standing Rock in North Dakota against the Dakota Access Pipeline. And because of films like this, and a lot of media attention was garnered, the pipeline didn't go ahead. So we'll wait to see what happens under this administration.
Great. And so this film was just made, do you know how long it was made in Standing Rock? Was this individual there for a week?
I believe he was there for some time, maybe a week or 2 weeks. This was also features some celebrities who were there at the time, like Mark Ruffalo, Shailene Woodley. It really shows the supporters of the Sioux Native Americans really campaigning against this pipeline, which would have created potentially contamination into the Sioux Reservation water supply, and I think it went through burial grounds that really would have affected the Sioux Native Americans. So it was fantastic that this protest began and happened, and that it was made into artwork such as this.
Great, okay. So should we move further into the gallery?
Sure.
All right. And is this a part of the Standing Rock exhibit?
This is a work that was created by Andrea Bowers, who's an artist based in LA, and she's also an activist, and it was made in 2013 out of recycled cardboard, a collage of recycled cardboard with a black marker on it, really made to focus on flyers, environmental protest flyers that were made. So that's the kind of motivation for it. And it was used, the graphic was used for the Rising Tide organization, which is an organization which is there to really fight climate change. So that's similar to, so there's a water connection between this and the Standing Rock piece about water contamination and climate change. So Andrea Bowers wanted us also to show both pieces in order to show the film piece is more relevant and newer, and Andrea Bowers was an executive producer of the film piece.
Very cool.
So this is an older work and we show it with a newer work.
Very cool. We have people watching from all over. Catherine Kivale says hi from the Blue Mountains in Australia.
Wow.
Cindy Presley Stilling says hello from Jacksonville, Florida. So for anyone watching, thank you for joining us, and let us know if you have any questions. So shall we move on through?
Yes. So here we have more collection pieces of work that some of it's older, some of it was made for this show. Over here, this large white flag. Shall I talk a little bit about this?
That would be great.
This is by the artist A.A. Bronson, who is based in Toronto and also in Berlin. And it's called White Flag number 8, and it was made with raw linen. So it's kind of creased, as you can see, and then there's layers of plaster, of glue, of chalk on here, and it's really created, well, intended to evoke the dust that occurred in New York after 9/11. So that was one of the intentions, but also with the title, excuse me, White Flag also represents the white flag iris, which is also another name for it is the cemetery iris, which is often planted on graves in America. So it's really has themes of death and dying. Well, a very powerful piece. So you can see the texture.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much work in this exhibition. Is there one that stands out to you or something that evokes something for you personally?
Really, all of it does, actually. I think all of it being thrown together, or not thrown together, but put together, and we put it together so quickly because we changed the show within weeks before this opened. So it was astounding the way the artists we connected with offered us pieces or created pieces, made new works for us. The Danish Ships, I think, really stands out to me because it's something she created. I think the actual date of this is 2017, so she did it within a week before the show opened. She just immediately wanted to do it. So a lot of the artists did create work immediately. You know, they had a visceral reaction and they wanted to show something new. Though there is old stuff in here too, which is pertinent.
We have a good question here from Kriti Mahajan, who asks, what made you understand the need for this kind of theme? So I guess maybe just the abruptly changing the plan for your exhibition.
You know, honestly, I think it really came from the staff at the gallery, because we all came to work on November 9th and everybody was so, you know, deflated and upset, and the impetus to get going with what we had already planned was so minimal and low. Nobody wanted to really do anything. So we really just decided, let's change it. Let's make this something exciting that we can get behind, that we feel strongly about. So everybody in the gallery had something to say and had ideas about who to contact. And we also introduced this idea of the Saturday symposiums, which are run by the girls at the front desk are mainly running those, so that's fantastic. The super had a lot of things to say and, you know, wanted his input too, so it's been a great democratic process, and it really made us want to go to work, to be quite honest, because we were so deflated. We were the ones crying on the subway on November 9th, so that's really why we decided to do it.
Great, and again, for anyone who's just joining, we are at the Petzel Gallery in New York City, in the Chelsea neighborhood, and we are getting a tour through an exhibition going on right now called We Need to Talk, where artists and the public are reflecting on the US presidential election. All right.
Great. This work up here is an older piece by Sarah Morris, and I think really it speaks for itself. And it's a good segue, because she will be, when this show closes, she's going to open the next show. So it's kind of nice to have that transitional piece in.
And is this Trump on an escalator? Or?
Yes, so this is Trump descending the escalator. This is supposed to make us recall when he announced his candidacy in Trump Tower. So you can see him, the escalator is gold, which recalls all the ideas of, you know, his furnishings are often gold. Um, it really is kind of a sly reference to a Duchamp painting of a nude descending a staircase, in which the artist used cylindrical shapes and conical shapes to create movements. So Danish Ships is making a sly reference to that, and we can see it within his face, really abstract elements coming through there too, to create this composite idea of his face. I mean, it's a history painting really, so we're very lucky to have it.
Great. And I know we didn't plan on talking about this, but Ellie Marie says, I want to know more about the piece with the Donald hanging. Do you...
yeah, let me just
so
refer to my notes here.
I'll just kind of show it off a little bit if that's okay. So Ellie Marie, this one is for you if you are watching.
This is a Rachel Harrison piece. It's Untitled. It was made in 2015. It's basically a Trump piñata, as you can see. She would like, if this piece sells, 100% of her profit to go to Planned Parenthood. So that's another thing that we actually brought in this show, is that the artist can decide what percentage of their profit they would like to donate to a cause, an organization that they want to support, and the gallery will match it. So, I mean, yeah.
Are there many pieces in here that the artists have requested some kind of donation or?
Yeah. Some of them 100% donation. Planned Parenthood, Black Lives Matter are two top organizations which people want to support.
And so, can you explain a little bit more about how you've been receiving submissions from the public?
Yes, so in the video room, which we walked through in order to get here, we are playing video submissions. It's basically the same thing as we asked the artists to do. We're just asking the public to send in a movie up to 5 minutes long, which in some way offers their reaction to the events that have taken place. So over this weekend, for example, we've had a lot of movies which are focusing on the marches that have happened, so some brilliant collages of marches and posters, and submissions are open until the end of January, so please see the website for submission details. I think you can just submit via email to the email is posted on the website, but we would love to take as many as we can.
So
you don't have to be an artist to do it.
That's true. Very cool. So Mary Kate Lamb is asking how long the show is going on, and if you could just repeat where we are again.
The show will be going on until February 11th, and the show is in Chelsea. It's 456 West 18th Street. That's between 8th and 9th. I can just tell you a little bit about this work here. This is Donald. This is Joyce Pensato up here, this Donald duck. Joyce really, it's called The Other Donald. It's a charcoal and pastel work on paper. It was created at the end of 2016. It's created for the show. Really, she uses a lot of cartoon characters in her work, and particularly Donald Duck, and you can see here that this is the other Donald by the reference to the hair. It's not gold, but we see what she's getting at. And then she also made a collage, which is underneath that work. I think it kind of speaks for itself, which is called Unthinkable. So she creates some very interesting work for us.
Is it normal for your gallery to essentially change your exhibition or change your plan of what work you're going to display based on events that happen? Is this like...
No, it's never happened before. We've never done this. We've never done this at all, and I just think we all felt so strongly that it had to happen, and even though we only had 5 weeks essentially to pull it together, and 2 of those weeks were the break, the winter break, we managed to, all hands on deck, you know, pulled through in the end.
And in terms of submissions you're getting from the public, have you gotten many? Did you get a lot right after the election? Was there ever a spike of submissions from the public?
There was a spike right at the beginning, and then the recent spike has been over this weekend, actually, because of, I think, the marches and the inauguration. So it was very heavy at the beginning, then there was a slight lag between the election and the inauguration, and now it's spiked up again. We've had over 150 submissions, so they're all being added into a loop and being shown continuously while the gallery is open. And we're keeping a running list of everybody who has submitted work. So it's fantastic and amazing to watch.
And Lucy Martin asked, will the proceeds go towards progressive causes in the U.S.? And that is up to some of the artists, right? As we just talked about.
It's completely up to the artist, and whatever they decide, we will match with. If they decide on 20% of their profit, then we will match it with 20% of ours. A lot of them are saying immediately 100% goes to various different organizations. All of them are progressive organizations.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Should we take a look at some of the submissions?
Absolutely.
So we are going to go and check out some of the video submissions that the public has been invited to send in about their feelings towards the U.S. presidential election. And so anyone can do it. They can just go on your website. And
yes, they can go on the website and they submit something to a special email address that we've set up called January 2017 at petzel.com.
If anyone watching feels inspired.
Wow, this is a great one. I haven't seen this one. Wow.
So someone must have done all this animation.
Yeah, amazing.
Animating is not easy.
No, this must have taken a long time to do. So, this is quite sophisticated. Some of them are not, and you don't. By no means does it need to be sophisticated. It's really up to you.
Are some people just doing kind of testimonials, like looking at the camera and saying their feelings?
Yep. We've definitely had testimonials. We've had people just singing, speeches that people have given to the public, just recorded. And recently, after the marches, it's a lot of footage that was taken during the marches that has been put together. So it's really up to you to create something.
I feel like I could sit in here all day and watch all
I know, actually, it's a really lovely thing. Yeah, we do sit here and watch them.
Let's go into this room. We have another good question from Lucy Martin. I just want to make sure that people can hear us, because some of these submissions have audio. So Lucy Martin wants to know maybe what you would like the outcome of this exhibition to be, or what the Petzel Gallery hopes.
Oh, that's a great question. I think really the outcome for us is to, initially the idea was to create some kind of bridge, because we were shocked by the election and we were shocked that we didn't understand or know that this was going to happen. And the idea really was to create a link to people whose voice we never hear, who are Trump supporters. So we just wanted to create a dialogue. So if we can get the outcome of this show to be in some way reaching out to people who voted for Trump, in order to understand where they're coming from and for them to understand us, I think that would be a really fantastic outcome, even if it's just one person that we're able to connect to. But that was really the idea essentially at the beginning. It's really taken on a different shape, and now it's become, I guess, some kind of catharsis for the artists, for the public, in some way to air their discontent and their anger or frustration after the election of November 8th. So if we can help people to work through their ideas about it, then that would be fantastic.
This is a cool piece. I'm having a little bit of band class PTSD right now, but...
This is Charles Gaines, and let me just find some more information for you. Yeah, Charles Gaines, made in 2014, called Notes on Social Justice, Our Country Right or Wrong, from a song that was created or written in 1861. And the medium is ink on Stonehenge paper.
Yeah, these are some interesting lyrics, I guess, that go along with the song.
Yeah.
We became aware of the existence of a right to have rights, and that means to live in a framework where one is judged by one's actions and opinions, and a right to belong to some kind of organized community. Only when millions of people emerged who had lost and could not regain these rights because of the new global political situation.
Yes, yeah, an Act of Congress, 1861. It's an adaptation.
Is this black flag on the wall the same artist as the artist?
No, this is Robert Longo, who is an American artist. He lives in New York. He does quite monumental black flags, and we had one in a show maybe 3 years ago that was buried in the floor.
Oh wow!
So this is another piece. He does a lot of commentary on American society, culture, and he's done a whole series of works which include black flags, or flags which are in some way not the flag that we expect. So this is a sculpture, beautifully made, attached to the wall, and you can see obviously the movement within the piece. He makes them normally really huge. But we asked him just for a smaller piece so that we could make room for everybody else. But Robert wanted us to donate everything 100% to Black Lives Matter and Planned Parenthood, I believe.
Great. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we'll end our tour here.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for your time. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments.
Thank you.